In this episode, we're serving up a feast of failure as we recount the worst dishes ever to grace the tables of kitchen nightmares. These are the dishes that not only failed to impress, but also left Chef Ramsay and us viewers utterly gobsmacked. Stay tuned as we delve into the disastrous details of these unforgettable kitchen nightmare dishes. Our first stop on this culinary disaster tour is Burger Kitchen in Los Angeles. This family-run business, despite its prime location and trendy interior, was losing roughly $6,000 per month when Gordon Ramsay paid them a visit. The family was at war and the tension was intense. The star of their show is the California Burger, a dish that promised the sunny delights of California, but instead delivered a storm of disappointment. Ordered medium rare, as Chef Ramsay is known for ordering, what arrived was a raw, tasteless patty sandwiched between doughy buns. The presentation was equally lackluster.
Wow, that's nasty.
His disappointment was evident, and his critique was scathing. He called out the lack of management and consistency, and the fact that the burgers were constantly being sent back to the kitchen. The California Burger was a prime example of these issues. But let's not forget the humor in all of this. The irony of a restaurant named Burger Kitchen failing so spectacularly at making decent burgers is not lost on us. And the cherry on top? The revelation that the so-called Wagyu burgers were bought in and frozen. So there you have it, folks, the California Burger from Burger Kitchen. Stay tuned as we continue our journey through the worst dishes of kitchen nightmares. Our next stop on this culinary disaster tour is Chappies, a restaurant that was once a beloved New Orleans staple, but had since relocated to Nashville. Chappies was known for its southern charm and Cajun cuisine, so Gordon decided to first order a gumbo. After trying the gumbo, he delivered the unforgettable line of,
"Looks like Chappie took a crappie in my gumbo."
This line, while humorous, highlighted the serious issues in the kitchen, from cleanliness to food quality. But it was the steak and lobster rocket that caught Ramsay's attention. And not in a good way. The steak and lobster rocket was a dish that sounded like a culinary adventure. However, what was served was more of a culinary misfire.
That's a very funny looking lobster.
He is then shocked to discover the price at $36.95. Not only that, but the chef filleted the steak and then decided to pound it thin. Yeah, not sure why anyone would do either of those with a perfectly good steak.
He beats the crap out of a fillet?
Is Chef Ramsay's response. The steak was overcooked, the lobster was rubbery, and the combination of the two was less of a rocket and more of a crash landing. Ramsay's reaction was as fiery as the dish's name suggested. He was visibly disappointed and didn't hold back his critique. So there you have it, folks, the steak and lobster rocket from Chappies, a dish that promised a culinary adventure but delivered a culinary disaster. Next, we're going to continue on the lobster theme by diving into the infamous lobster rolls of the Black Pearl. Now, if you remember from our previous episode, we covered the tumultuous journey of the Black Pearl, a once thriving seafood restaurant located in the heart of New York City. Gordon expresses his skepticism about the restaurant being managed by three supposedly devoted owners. He criticizes Brian for working only 2 days a week, distrusts David 1 little inch, and notes Greg's frustration with both. He humorously compares the trio to Sleepy, Dopey, and Grumpy.
Who am I? Snow White?
Today we're going to focus on one dish in particular that caused quite a stir, their lobster rolls. The lobster rolls were supposed to be the star of the show at the Black Pearl, a dish that should have been a crowd pleaser. Enter Gordon Ramsay, known for his brutally honest critiques. Ramsay didn't hold back when it came to the Black Pearl's lobster rolls. He said the Connecticut lobster roll was horrible and soaking wet.
It's like eating a wet diaper.
Not only is the lobster unseasoned, but Gordon also uncovers a shocking truth. The lobster dishes, which were supposedly sourced from Maine, were actually imported from Canada. David, the restaurant's obstinate owner, continually makes excuses by saying,
"Same waters, North Atlantic waters,"
and fails to see the issue. Gordon is on the brink of losing his cool as he struggles to make David admit to his glaringly deceptive advertising.
The award-winning Maine Lobster Roll. Canadian.
If you want to see how the rest of this episode went, check out the video we made exclusively on this episode and the follow-up that happened after the episode aired to the Black Pearl. We talk about what happened after to David, the other owners, and best of all, Steven, who was a real nice guy. Next up is an Italian restaurant named David's. Now, you would think with an Italian place it would be all about the fresh ingredients, right? Wrong. We find the chef, Frank, preparing his eggplants well in advance. When the infamous eggplant is served up to Gordon, his legendary palate immediately clocks the unfortunate fact. These eggplants are about as fresh as a relic from Pompeii. He describes it as
Pretty spongy and horrible.
Gordon then asks the owner if they are frozen, in which he replies that they are fresh. Gordon then asks when they were done, in which the waiter replies that they were done just this morning. Gordon asks the waiter to check if it was indeed done this morning, as he thinks they taste about a week old. If only it were so. The chef then casually drops the bombshell. Not 1 week, not 2 weeks.
3 weeks ago.
With the chef saying he doesn't have time to make it fresh every day. The waiter goes to tell Ramsay this. Ramsay asks the waiter if it was indeed made this morning, in which he responds,
3 weeks ago.
Gross. No wonder it tasted off. We'll cap this culinary odyssey with a dish that even the pickiest eaters can't resist. Pizza. Surely it's a no-brainer, right? After all, as Gordon quips, making pizza is as easy as pie. So it's off to the lofty peaks of Denver, Colorado, where we find ourselves at Pete's Pizza Haven. His audacious claim, the best pizza in Denver. A bold declaration emboldened by decades-old accolades proudly displayed like an Olympic medal hall. Upon setting foot in Pete's restaurant, Gordon opts for a simple sausage pizza, a true litmus test for any pizzeria. He's eager to sample this heralded best pizza in Denver, but what ensues is less of a taste sensation and more of a sensory onslaught. Gordon is presented with a pizza so gargantuan, it could easily satisfy 2 famished families. The bemused look on Gordon's face says it all.
It's like the pizza that ate Denver.
Yeah.
But that is not all. Gordon says the dough is so thick, like a baguette.
That's our thin crust.
Gordon, shocked and slightly horrified, echoes our thoughts. That's the thin crust? Wow.
Wow.
Not only that, but the pizza had a shocking amount of grease, turning the cheese and sausage toppings into a sliding mess, skidding off the pizza slice faster than a skier down a snowy Colorado slope. When Gordon confronts the owner, he asks him, "This was a thin crust?" In which he replies, "Yes, sir." To what Gordon then responds to with,
You need to go get your eyes tested.
Gordon even proves to the owner later in the episode through taste testing that people don't like his pizza. His pizza even got a lower rating than the store-bought frozen pie. So much for the best pizza in Denver. How about you? What were the worst dishes you've seen on Kitchen Nightmares? Let us know in the comment section. And if you haven't already, do hit the subscribe button for more reality TV rescue show recaps in the future.